We're going to begin in a supported pose, whatever to you is the most grounding. So for me, that is usually legs up the wall. Like when I think about starting my practice with grounding, I put my legs up the wall. But we are in the dark moon heading into the new moon, and we are in the dark moon in the fixed earth element, which is all about our sensual, like comfort, like our physical animal instinct. So listen to your body. So if legs up the wall or legs up the chair or legs up the bed sounds good, you can do that. But if you're like, I would feel the most grounded if I laid over my bolster, or if I laid in fetal pose, or if I just lay on the earth in Shavasana. And we will be here probably about 5 minutes. So we really want to allow some space, because the dark moon, the new moon energy is like the bottom of the exhale right before we take that next breath in. And so we always want to honor the dark moon, because it is the finishing of the last cycle before the renewal of the incoming cycle. And we are transitioning in the lunar energy from fixed earth, which again is the most grounded, sensual, steady, just really decadent, luxurious earth energy, just some of the most physical earth energies. It's like the roots, it's the mid-spring energy in the Northern Hemisphere. And then we are transitioning, and the sun has already transitioned, Jupiter has transitioned, Venus, and then today Mercury have all transitioned into the mutable air element. And so we basically go from the flower to the pollinator. So the blossom of the mid-spring, which is the Taurus energy, the deep roots that allow the blossom to open. And then we go into the pollinator. So we go from being in the flower, being the flower, to being what is flitting all around it. So the butterflies, the dragonflies, the hummingbirds, the bees, that is the energy of mutable air. So this first few minutes, we really want to kind of be the flower. We want to be rooted and open and supported. And then we'll sort of start to move into that a little bit more mercurial state. So really letting yourself feel floral, right? Decadent, supported, rooted, grounded, open. Start to access your breath. Let your breath first ground you. So breathe into the back of the body, breathe into the parts of the body on the earth. As you exhale, let that root you deeper. So becoming really deliciously present with your physicality, your body on the earth, your senses, what's touching you, what are you touching? What can you smell, taste, hear? Letting your eyes close. And just really let yourself slow it down, slow down your breath. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Rooting, grounding, receiving the earth energy. Giving ourselves permission to ground in the dark moon, so that as the new moon begins to lighten the elemental space, we can allow that shape shifting from flower to pollinator. And so letting yourself sink a little bit more into the body, into the breath. Breathing into the backs of the heels and the calves, the backs of the knees and the thighs, the back of the glutes, your spine, low back, mid back, upper back, back of the arms and the hands, the back of the neck, the back of the head, as though you were rooting deeper into the earth with the back of your body, deep roots, receiving nourishment from the earth, effortlessly releasing. And feeling the crown of the head and the face, the throat and the chest, the solar plexus and the belly, the palms open, the front of the arms, the hips and the front of the pelvis, and tops of the legs down to the toes. Letting your breath just scan through the body, allowing the body to be like that blossom, that flower, so rooted, so supported, and allowing that openness, that sweetness. Let the breath move through you for a couple more moments, aware of the senses. And imagine that you could inhale up the back of the body and exhale down the front of the body. Inhaling up the back, exhaling down the front. And so it's the breath that makes that transition between earth and air, between the flower and the pollinator. Imagine now that you could inhale up the right side of the body, from the tips of the toes to the fingers of the arm, all the way to the temple. And then exhale down the left side of the body, from the temple to the fingertips to the toes. Inhaling up the right side of the body, and down the left side. Just letting the breath travel, again, balancing the body, beginning to clear out the physical body, activating the breath body. And now, can you imagine just breathing up the right arm, up the right hemisphere of the brain, and then exhaling down the left hemisphere of the brain, down the left arm. Inhaling up the right arm through the right hemisphere of the brain, down the left hemisphere of the brain and the left arm. Inhaling up the right arm and the right hemisphere of the brain, exhaling left hemisphere of the brain down the arm. And now, as you inhale, breathe up the right hemisphere of the brain and pause at the midbrain. And then exhale out the left hemisphere of the brain and pause at the heart. So inhaling right hemisphere of the brain, pausing at the forehead, the midbrain. Exhaling left hemisphere of the brain, pausing at the heart. Inhale, right hemisphere, pause at the midbrain. Exhale, left hemisphere, pause at the heart. And really allowing your breath to map the whole hemisphere from side to side, and really feeling into that midbrain. And then also the center of the heart. And just stay with this a little bit longer as the body releases, the physical body purified, balanced, breath body dancing, moving, restoring. And it doesn't have to be deep breath. And a lot of times, actually, with this kind of breathing, this intuitive breath, the breath can get a little bit soft. And then keep your attention at the space between the eyebrows, the midbrain. And just imagine breathing in and out of the forehead. And as you breathe in and out of the forehead, imagine in your mind's eye the first pollinator that comes to mind. This winged ally. See it in your mind's eye, the shape of its wings, the color, the movement. And welcome the spirit of this energy. As you envision it in your third eye, can we set the intention through this dark moon, new moon practice to infuse with the energy of this ally? What would it be like to bring this essence into our day to day? The curiosity, the color, the movement, the instinct. And then take another big, big breath in. Open mouth, exhale, and just start to feel into the body. Let your head roll side to side. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Start to stretch and move. And again, just sort of let your body find that organic movement, shifting, rocking, sighing, humming, buzzing, whatever sounds feel intuitive. And take your time. We are going to come to standing over the next few breaths. And so when you're ready, you can carry yourself up to stand. And feet comfortably wide. Mountain pose. And just noticing what it's like to be standing after that time, grounding and breathing. And feeling your feet and your crown are conduit between earth and sky, earth and air tonight. And as you inhale, gather your arms up, reach up towards the sky, and then draw the hands to heart gently back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale, reach up, honoring the parade of planets in the sky as we come into this new moon. Exhale, hands to heart, one hand to heart, one hand to belly, soft knees, gentle rock. And we tone to the new moon. Om Chandraya Namaha. And you can just listen or hum or join with me. Inhale. Om Chandraya Namaha. Inhale, gather the arms back up. Exhale, left arm down, right arm overhead. Let's just find a simple flow. Inhale, gather up. Exhale to the right. And just moving with your breath. And again, if those arms were the wings of that pollinator, and how would they move in and out of the flow, of the shape? Maybe they're smaller wings, smaller arms. Maybe they're big and broad, colorful. And over this next lunar cycle, we really value curiosity, communication, expression, community. And this tends to be a more social cycle because, again, pollinators like to check things out. They like to socialize. Still following your breath, just moving through that side bend, strong legs, long spine. One more to each side. And then inhale, reach up, lift. Exhale, soft knees, forward fold, hands to the floor, blocks, or you can use a chair. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle it up. Hands to heart. And again, just continue with this. Ardha, Surya Namaskar, half sun salutes. And again, these can be big movements, little movements. You can hold in the movement. If something feels good, you can bring something else in if that feels good. You can stay with the half sun salute, or we're gonna just do, it's not a full sun salute, it's just adding the lunges. So you'd inhale up, and as you exhale, come down. And then you'd inhale, step one leg back, lift the chest, and then exhale, step back, and then inhale up halfway, exhale, fold. Inhale up, hands to heart, and then you'd switch. So it's like you're moving through the half sun salute, but you're adding that lunge in with that heart opener, just to get a little energy through the legs, a little balance. And if that doesn't feel comfortable, then you don't have to do it. You can lower the knee down if that feels better for the breath, or you can keep it lifted to kind of get that full activation, right? That earth energy in the legs. But balance connects us to air and fire, and then of course using the breath. Just stay with your breath, however you're flowing right now. When it feels comfortable for you, we are going to hold that Uttanasana for a moment. So that forward fold. So take your time if you're moving through the lunges. If it feels comfortable for you to do a down dog instead of an Uttanasana tonight, you can definitely take a nice long downward dog and stretch out there. Otherwise, Uttanasana, rock the hips, shake out the head. And opening up through the back of the body, releasing tension. And then we are going to have the right foot forward into the lunge, and yogi's choice, high or low lunge, or maybe it just depends on the legs. Left hand stays down, right hand to right thigh or sky, and twist into our dragonfly here. You can also keep the right hand down, back knee can be down. You can also do this like on a bed or a chair, do the lunge. That feels a little better. Take a couple breaths. And then release. Step it either up into Uttanasana or back into downward dog. Stretch it out. Left foot stays forward in the lunge, right leg steps back, knee up or down. Right hand to the floor, left hand to the left thigh, or reach it for the sky, dragonfly twist. Squeeze the legs, open up. Soften the jaw, great rotation of the spine. Take another big inhale. Exhale again, downward dog or Uttanasana. Inhale up, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach it up, stretch up. Hands to heart. Slide your hands to your hips and ground through your left leg. And then just start to bend your right knee. And the toes can stay on the floor, or you can lift it up and then lower. And just moving with this. If you want a little more, you can inhale the arms as you lift the leg. Bring that upper body in. Just balancing. And if you want to, you can also lift the opposite arm of the leg. Add a little brain gym to that. Because it's easier to lift both arms than to try to find the opposite arm. And again, just with your breath, that kind of almost winged movement, flow. And if you're able to lift both arms, you can even tap the knee with that opposite arm too. Keep the other arm up. So always little ways we can change this, both arms, opposite arm, or both arms with that opposite hand tapping the knee, adding that twist. Keep the breath flowing though. So a lot of times when we start moving, we lose the breath. So in a strong air cycle, we really want to keep the breath our focus, because when we don't have the breath, the mind gets scattered, anxious, agitated. Slow down the breath. Even if that means you got to slow the movement a little. One more to each side. And then bring it back and shake it out. And shake your arms really well. Bring them up overhead or out. Shake out your legs. Shake out your chest. Give yourself a full body shimmy. Inhale. Exhale it out. Let yourself settle back into that mountain pose. Hand to heart, hand to belly. Let's move through the hips a little bit. After doing some asymmetrical sensing, coming back into that more fluid, grounded container. Soft jaw, soft face. Grounded through the feet. And reverse the direction. Back to center. And then take your hands into prayer. And then you're going to start to roll them in circles. So they'll start in prayer and then they'll kind of roll back against each other and around. So it's almost like a backwards prayer, and then they'll come back through. They're just kind of adding some resistance. So the mutable air element rules the lungs, the voice box, the hands, the arms, co-regulates the nervous system. Breathing into the wrists here. Spread your fingers and then reverse the direction. Might be a little weird at first, but you know, that's okay. Just trying to deepen our awareness here. Take another big breath. Exhale, release, and then try to press the back of the hands together and turn the palms up. If that's too much, you can have them facing down. Turn them up so the back of the hands together. Soften the jaw. You can rock your hips a little bit. And then flip your hands, press your palms away from you. Press them out. Tuck the chin a little, stretch through the shoulders, the upper body. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Again, soft elbows, shoulders down. And you can stay like this or take your hands to the back of your skull, clasped, and then lift the chest. If this is too much, then stay in that other position. Let your head rest back in your hands, elbows wide, shoulders down, opening through the chest. Take another big, big breath in. Exhale, gently release. Shake out your arms. Let your head gently turn side to side. And let's come into tree pose. So you can always use a wall, door, chair. Ground through the left leg. Rotate the right foot and place it at the ankle, the calf, or the upper thigh. Hands to your hips, to your heart, or you can reach up. And you might even, if you reach up, roll out your wrists here a few times in each direction. Soft gaze, gazing at a point that's not moving, the drishti. Feeling into this mid-seasonal tree. So this is the last cycle before the solstice. Coming towards the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. And the winter solstice in the southern. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, slowly release, give it a little shake. And then switch sides. Each side is different, so just be mindful how you're placing your foot, your hands, arms, wrists. Balance can vary from one side to the next. A little bit of trickster energy in the mutable air, the trickster, the shapeshifter, the pollinator, the twins. Few good breaths here. Long spine, soft eyes. Inhale. And exhale, release. Shake it out. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Come back into your mountain. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold down. Stretch it out. And we're going to come into another wrist stretch, and I'm going to give you two options because it really just kind of depends. So the first option is gorilla, where you bend your knees and then you step on your wrists. And this time, sometimes it can depend on your wrist. It can also depend on your legs. Another option is you would just step back to all fours and then just point your hands towards your body. So again, depending on your body, one of these might be too much. For me, I'd actually rather stand on my feet, on my hands all day than do this one. It can be a little more intense. And obviously, if you can't be comfortably on your knees, then gorilla might work. And you can try them out, again, be curious, do one and then do the other, and then just, pick the one that you feel like you could be in for a little bit more. So gorilla or the wrist stretch and tabletop. And the one, if you're staying on your wrist too, is you get the wrist stretch, but you also get like the calves and the hamstrings. So it's not as concentrated in the wrist. Whereas obviously if you're in tabletop, it's pretty concentrated in the wrist. You can also do one wrist at a time. Just take 3 or 4 breaths on one side and then switch. Really try to spread your fingers though. If you're in gorilla, try to get that nice distribution of weight through the feet, through the hands. And our hands, we do a lot of typing, right? We do a lot of devices, we do a lot of stuff. So it's really good to stretch out the wrists. A few more breaths wherever you are. Inhale. Exhale, release it. And let yourself shift down to seated. Oh, excuse me. And bring the soles of the feet together. Maybe give those wrists a little shake. And rock your heels in. So, of course, our little butterfly pose here. Press the feet together. Lift your chest. And then you can draw forward, pressing your arms into the legs, lengthening the spine, or you can stretch forward, turn your palms up. Now I want you to focus on breathing into the back of the lungs here. And the lungs expand. So again, as though you had those wings right on the back body, the back of the lungs. Inhale and let them expand. And exhale, settle. Great, beautiful wings. Press the feet together, lengthen your spine. You can always fold your head down on a pillow or block or bolster. And the closer the heels are to the pelvis, the more you might feel this in your hips. And so this sort of is connecting us to all of the elements this week. We get to ground through the forward fold. We have our butterfly pose and our back of the lung awareness here, and then some hips for the water energy that we'll move into this weekend as we move out of the new moon. Really let your breath permeate through the body, the back of the body, back of the lungs, long spine. Those butterfly wings or dragonfly wings or hummingbird or bumblebee or whatever came to you as the pollinator image. Deep breath in. Open mouth. Roll yourself up. Stretch the legs out, rock the legs out a little bit. And then bend the right knee and just draw the heel in towards the hip. Lift your spine and then bring the right arm inside the right leg, left arm behind and twist. And you can bend that right arm. I'm just breathing into an open twist. Soften the face. Wiggle the left toes. Inhale. And then as you exhale, reach that left arm around to wrap the right leg, right hand behind you into the closed twist. Again, breathing into the back of the lungs rather than the front of the lungs. Head can look to the right or you can rotate it around. Keep sitting up tall. Inhale. Exhale, unwind, stretch the right leg out, shake them out. Bend the left knee, give it a squeeze in, lift the spine, and then right hand behind you, left arm inside, bend the left arm as you open up. So breathing to that right side of the chest, right side of the lung, lifting the spine, opening the heart. Wiggle the right toes, deep breath in. Exhale, rotate, right arm wraps left, left hand behind. Again, sit up even taller, breathe into the back of the lungs now, looking to the left or towards the right. Soften the jaw. Inhale. Exhale, unwind, stretch the legs out, shake them out. And then we're going to move into supported bridge. So you can get a bolster or a block or even just a firm pillow. And then you'll roll yourself down onto the back. And you can take a moment as you come down to rock your knees a little bit or hug the legs in if that feels good. Draw the shoulders underneath you. And then bring your feet about hip width distance apart when you're ready. Lift your hips and slide your prop underneath the sacrum. And you want it to settle there. So it can be flat or it can be on its side, whatever works for you. And you can let the knees knock, or you can extend your legs long. You can also reach your arms up overhead or out to the sides. And then if you want as well, you can bring the knees in and stretch the legs up. But again, really great for the heart, for the lungs, for the nervous system here. Very grounding, very supportive. Try to draw the shoulders on the back a little bit more. Soften your face. And come back to the breath. First, again, just breathing up and down the body. And then maybe letting the breath travel up the sides of the body, up the right and down the left. And again, it doesn't have to be even as formal, just that awareness of breathing up the sides, down the sides. And then can you bring that awareness into breathing up the right hemisphere to the third eye, down the left hemisphere to the heart. Keep lifting through the chest, breathing here. And the breath might get softer, deeper, depending also on what version of bridge you're in. Just try to keep that awareness of breathing up the right hemisphere to the third eye, and then down the left hemisphere to the heart. Creating this circuit to balance the intuition, the heart, the brain. And then let go of the pattern. Just come back to your breath. Your legs are extended or in any other position, you can bring them back. And when you're ready, you can gently lift your hips to remove the prop. And as you lower the prop for a moment, just have your knees bent, feet planted, and bring your arms by your sides. And then let your thumbs point up and very slowly inhale, reach your arms up overhead so the thumbs tap the earth. And then slowly exhale, bring them down. So just very slowly lift and lower, back of the head down, shoulders on the back, pressing down through the tailbone. Just releasing through the upper spine. Really press through your feet. And just lifting and lowering those thumbs. And then the next time the arms come down, you can hug your knees in. And rock or circle, roll your head, give yourself a big, big hug. And then we'll find a relaxation for a few minutes. And of course, if you'd like a longer relaxation, you can always leave the practice, but just, I know we took some time at the beginning to do a relaxation, but we do want to have at least a few minutes to seal the practice, especially during the dark new moon phase, lots of rest. So you can just extend out onto the earth, maybe support the knees. You can lay over pillows or bolsters or put your legs up the wall. You can rest on one side or sit in meditation, focusing on your breath. Just give yourself a few moments to receive this month, this cycle that is passing away, this lunar month that is releasing back into the earth. And the potential of this new lunar cycle beginning. Allowing yourself to be both the flower and the pollinator, grounded, open, nourished, and also curious, whimsical, communicative, communicating with the plants and the animals, with the stars and the soil. The quantum community is the realm of mutable air. And so we rest into this space between dark and new moon, earth and air. We receive all the blessings of the fixed earth. And we open to all the potential, the pollination available in the mutable air. Let yourself be held and carried here by the breath. Maybe again in your third eye, that image of the pollinator appears to you in all its color and movement, sound. You rest and receive the blessings. You might continue to linger in this space, or if you are ready to return, let the breath deepen, letting the breath move out to the fingers and the toes, and then back into the heart. And can we connect a quality of gratitude and appreciation with all of the challenges, all of the uncertainty, gratitude, appreciation for this breath, this body, the opportunity to change shape and element and cycle and season. You can bring movement back or just stay with deep breath. That might carry you over to one side or into bigger movement, rocking, wiggling, shifting. And eventually it might carry you back up to a seated position. You can place a hand to heart and a hand to belly, gently rock. And we'll seal the practice with 3 ohms. The first ohm honoring your path right now, Second Om is an offering to those suffering and also for our loved ones. And final Om in gratitude for our Mother Earth, our Grandmother Moon. You can listen, hum, or join in when you're ready. Om. 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 Draw the hands to the heart, rub the palms, take a deep breath in. Exhale, left hand to the left palm up, right hand to the right palm down. Take a final shared breath, our virtual moon circle. Big, big breath in. And exhale, hands to the earth. We bow. Om Chandraya Namaha. Many blessings. Happy new moon week. And I hope to see you soon.